Welcome back to my channel. I'm Hannah Blackwell, and today we're going to be doing my January TBR. I have so many fun reading plans in January. I cannot wait. We're doing buddy reads with my Patreon, a couple of different ones, and I'm really excited to get a head start on my 2025 bingo board. That is my Romantasy bingo board. I will have that shared down below in the description and up here if you're interested in participating. But I want to get a head start on that. I have so many books that I want to get to. I have series I want to continue, and just a lot of great stuff going on. I just have a really good feeling that 2025 is going to be my year. So without further ado, let's get into some pulls. This is my TBR jar. I made this myself and I friggin' love it. I've added some more prompts too. If you want to, you can join any of my tiers, even my free tier in my Patreon, and you can give me prompts for my TBR jar. You don't have to pay to do that. But yeah, let's just go ahead and pull. I do have 2 books I need to get on. Well, more than that. I have at least 3 books I need to get on this TBR. We're gonna try for those. We'll see what happens. Otherwise, I'm gonna have a lot of books on my TBR. Okay, so this pull is... I feel like I get this one every time. I think I get this one almost every time. Oh my goodness, a book with plants on the cover. And I just added like so many new prompts too. That's funny. Okay, a book with plants on the cover. This works really well for a readathon I'm partaking in, which is Steph's The Final Book Support Group Readathon. Because this is a book 2 in a series, I'm also buddy reading this with a bunch of my patrons on the Hideaway's Cozy Corner. And this is Woven by Gold. This is by Elizabeth Helen. This is book 2 in the Beast of the Briar series. It's a Why Choose Beauty and the Beast retelling fantasy romance with Fae. And I really enjoyed book 1. I read that with April. I'll have her channel linked down below too. And we just had a great time. I gave book 1 4.5 stars. I really loved it. I can't wait to read book 2. And there are leaves on the cover. They are like autumnal leaves. I'm wondering if this is because we're going to be spending extra time with the autumn prince. In this book, there are 4 princes of each season. So there's like the Prince of Autumn, Spring, Summer, and Winter. And then there's another one as well, another prince who is like the Prince of Thorns that I don't know if he's going to be involved in the White Shoes situation, but he's there too. I just can't wait for this one. I'm excited. I think it's going to be a great time. I've just been holding off on reading it just because I do want to be able to buddy read it because buddy reads are so much fun. But at the same time, I'm like every time I have a new book to pick up, I'm like, but I want to read that one. So I'm very excited to read this one. Okay, let's pick another one. Hopefully it's a new one. Oh, I think it is 2025 TBR. Things are just working out perfectly for me right now. I've actually got 2 videos for my 2025 TBR. The first one is my Romantasy bingo board, and that's got 25 books that are all Romantasy that I really want to read in 2025. And I have an additional TBR where I think I added like maybe 8 or 9 books that I really want to get to in 2025. So I've got a lot of books to choose from. We are actually going to be buddy reading Wings of Stars by R.L. Calder and M. Sinclair. And we're going to be buddy reading this with the red wine tier of my Cozy Corner Patreon. And we're supposed to be buddy reading this in winter, but I'd like to get it on my January TBR because I'd like to read it in January. So I'm going to go ahead and add this. Wings of Stars is a Why Choose fantasy romance series about fallen angels. I think that our heroine was born maybe without powers. She's banished from like the angel realm. And when she's banished, maybe she goes to the human realm and she meets her other, I don't really know where she's banished to, but I know from there she meets her mates, and it is a fantasy romance Why Choose with angels and fallen angels, and it looks very good. I've been dying to try this author duo for a long time. My Red Wine Patreon tier actually unanimously voted for this one. But it was between this one and Empire of Flame and Thorns, which is like a dragon fantasy romance series. But everyone voted for Wings of Stars, and I'm just so excited to get to it. So this has worked out really well. I also do have a Patreon readathon in January. From the 10th to the 12th, we are going to be reading novellas, and this is our seasonal readathon for winter. We're calling it Novellas for the New Year. I'm really excited for this. I have so many books that I want to read. I'm not sure if I'm going to put any of those on this TBR. I might do like a separate TBR video just for my patrons, and that could be a lot of fun. I'm also going to be vlogging it, so maybe I'll just include the TBR in the vlog, but we'll see. I do have to get some novellas read in January for that readathon, but I don't know if I'm going to put any of them on this TBR. Okay, so let's do poll number 3. This is so funny. I guess I'm going to read a lot of White Shoes in January, which I'm honestly not mad about. I have been in a major White Shoes mood for a little bit now, and I'm actually that's really a lot of what I want to read right now, so I'm very happy to just read more White Shoes. So let's see. I have a few options here. Ooh, I don't know what to pick. Okay, I don't know. Part of me wants to read another series continuation because we do, like I said, have final book support group going on. That is just like a week long. I think it might be the 3rd week. I'll put the dates up on the screen. So I have that. So maybe getting another series continuation could be good. I also really want to read Shards of Desire by R.L. Calder that comes out, I think on the 31st of this month. And it looks really good. I don't know, guys. I also really want to read Dark Fae because I can't continue on in Zodiac Academy. Me personally, I just don't want to continue on in Zodiac Academy until I kind of read at least one book in that series. What do I do, guys? What do I do? I think I'm going to be semi-responsible here, and we're gonna try Dark Fae. This is by Carolyn Peckin and Susan Valenti. This is in the same world set as Zodiac Academy, but it's like it's like a different couple. Well, it's White Shoes, obviously. I don't know much about it other than it's at a different school. Some of these characters actually end up coming into play or started coming into play like a book or two ago in the Zodiac Academy, maybe around 5th book. Maybe around the 5th book in the Zodiac Academy. I know the characters I think it is, but I'm not positive, and I want to know. So this kind of feels like a series continuation because we've got some character overlay, but it's not. But I do want to kind of catch up with these characters and figure out what's happened because it's kind of like a prequel series to Zodiac Academy. I'm very interested to find out. I know one of the characters that is in Zodiac Academy, but the other one I'm not sure on. I think it's the character I'm thinking of, but I could be wrong. And so that makes me really intrigued, really curious. I'm really excited to get to this one. Okay, let's do poll number 4. This TBR is going very well, might I just say. It's all bent. Oh my goodness. Okay, cool. That's easy. Kindle Unlimited. I feel like especially these days, most of what I read is on Kindle Unlimited, so that's a very easy prompt for me. So does this prompt mean I have to read it on Kindle Unlimited? This book is on Kindle Unlimited, and you know what? I'm gonna go with it because I will probably download it so I can read and listen. I've waited until January so I can get the audiobook for this book because it's finally out, or gonna be out, and that is Gold by Raven Kennedy. So do I own a physical copy of this book? Yes. I know I'm gonna be using the audiobook some with this too, but I'm gonna be using the audio and I think probably my ebook more than likely. So I probably will have to download it from Kindle Unlimited to do that. So I'm gonna count this. Gold is the 5th book in the Plated Prisoner series by Raven Kennedy. It is a King Midas retelling fantasy romance. It's definitely dark, so check the triggers before going into it. I love our main character. She is just, she has so much character growth throughout the series. A lot of the characters do. There's the found family trope. There's just so many great tropes and things going on in the series that I love. It's a wonderful series to read in the winter because we do have like a blustery, snowy, wintry, icy setting. So it's perfect to read in the winter time. And I was not a huge fan of how the 5th book started out, but I'm still feeling very hopeful. I've heard great things about Goldfinch, the last book in the series. So like if I do finish Gold, there's a good possibility that I will then pick up Goldfinch and read both of those in January. I'm really wanting to do more binging, and this would be a perfect opportunity to binge the rest of the series and just get this series over with. I want to finish as many series as I can in 2025. I really want to concentrate on finishing out series and just having a great time binging series. So I think it's a good opportunity for me to read Gold and Goldfinch. Though I will say I'm only putting Gold on this TBR because I don't want to put the pressure on myself, especially if I don't like Gold. I don't want to put the pressure on myself to immediately continue on. But if I'm feeling like it, I will probably finish out the series. Okay, let's do the next poll. Fantasy romance. Kind of easy for me. So for this, why don't we go ahead and continue another series? Let's do it. Let's read Glow by Penn Cole. This is the 2nd book in the Kindred's Curse saga. and I loved Spark of the Everflame, and this is book 2, Glow of the Everflame, and I can't wait to get to it, guys. I loved Spark of the Everflame. It was one of my favorite fantasy romances of 2024. I just had such a great time. I can't wait to find out what happens next with these characters. This is a very epic political fantasy romance. There's a lot going on. There's rebellions. We have our heroine who is a healer, and she's supposed to be staying as far away from the Descended as possible, the Descended being like our fae. And instead, when her mother goes missing, she ends up having to go to the castle and heal some Descended children because they cannot heal as quickly as adult Descended. And from there, she meets the prince and all hell breaks loose. And there's a fantasy romance, obviously a romance between them possibly building. She does also have a beau like in the human city, so the two of them also have stuff going on, so it's a bit of a love triangle. I'm very curious to see what happens next. I'm loving this series and I need to know what happens in book 2. From what I've heard from so many people, book 2 is the best in the series so far. So many people had it on their favorite book of the year list so far for 2024, and I just heard so many people talk about this book and about how it's like just the best basically, so I cannot wait. I think that puts us at 6 pulls. This will be the 6th pull. Those were 5 so far, so this will be the final pull. I'm doing 6. So let's see. Oh my goodness, seriously right now? It says continuous series. So I don't know if you guys can see that, but it does say continuous series. I was so good at continuing so many series for this TBR. I feel like I have a lot of continuations because I've got Glow, I've got Gold, I've got Woven by Gold. Wow, these all have a theme, don't they? They definitely all have like a theme, like a shiny metallic. Anyway, what series should I continue? Should I do another White Shoes, guys? I'm between a few options here that I'm very intrigued by. I've decided that this is going to be Psycho Fae. So I just read Psycho Shifters, and this is by Jasmine Mass. And I really enjoyed Psycho Shifters. I liked it so much that I even put between that and reading How Does It Feel? Recently, I decided to go ahead and add a prompt on my TBR jar. You guys didn't see it this time, but it was unhinged. So I have a prompt in my TBR jar called Unhinged, just because I really enjoyed How Does It Feel and Psycho Shifters, and I was like, I need a prompt for books like this that are just totally unhinged. And Psycho Shifters was totally unhinged. Y'all will hear all about it during my December wrap-up, but I want to continue, guys. I want to continue, and why not read more White Shoes, right? So Psycho Fae, this is book 2 in this series. In this series, by the way, another great series to read in wintertime because it is set in this world that is frigid cold. It snowed even on the warmest day of the year. So it's always snowing, it's always cold, it's a freezing, desolate landscape of frozenness. And we have shifters in this world. Most people cannot shift. They are considered like null shifters. And our heroine thinks she's a null. She is an indentured servant and she thinks she's null, and then she turns 18. She's been abused by her person that took her and her sister in, and she's treated like a servant because she basically is a servant. And she's also just treated very poorly. So when she turns 18, they decide to check to see if she is a shifter, and it turns out she is. And things get crazy from there. She is sent to this war front because they're at war with the Fae, and she meets these alphas that are like the head of this war camp, and there's a romance with them. It is a bully romance, so just know that going in. This is very dark. There's lots of triggers, and it's a bully romance. Just know those things before going into this series. Like, it's definitely not for everyone. Jasmine Mass recently became very popular because of her newer series, Blood of Hercules. That got picked up traditionally, which is crazy. I don't think I've ever seen a White Shoes book picked up traditionally, but that was picked up traditionally. It's at Barnes & Noble even. And that is like a Hercules retelling, but it's a White Shoes, a dark fantasy romance white shoes. Very dark, very unhinged. This series is very popular, but I think it's what got her then picked up traditionally for that series. So if the name Jasmine Mess sounds familiar, it might be because of that. That book made the top Goodreads list for fantasy romance, and I decided that I kind of wanted to try her Psycho Shifters series before going into Blood of Hercules, because I am wanting to binge more series. If I start that one, then I'd have to read book one and then wait forever. I figured, why not try her out as a writer with some books I can already like binge if I want to. So I decided to start with Psycho Shifters. And like I said, I really liked book one. I gave it 4 stars, enjoyed it. Just know the series and this book is not for everyone. It's very unhinged. So there you have it. Those are the 6 books that are on my January TBR. There's a lot of other books I'd like to get to, but those are the ones that I'm going to be really trying to get to and sticking with, making sure I get to those ones. I'm really happy with the way this TBR went. I got lots of white shoes on there. I got series continuations. I'm also, like I said, going to be reading a lot of novellas this month from the 10th to the 12th for the novellas for the New Year Readathon on my Patreon. If you're interested in my Patreon, like I said, we're doing the Readathon, we're doing buddy reads in January, and throughout the winter we do them seasonally with the red wine tier. You can check out my Patreon. It'll be linked down below in the description. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I'd love to have you do so, and don't forget to click the like button. Until next time, fellow readers, keep reading and living your best life. You're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I